Where were we on One Piece?
We were on 953. Hi, welcome to the freaking Ucast.
Hello.
Tyler has gone. We are going a little long today because we got the freaking Ucast. We had a healthy podcast, but we got to keep going because we
Yeah.
haven't talked about One Piece and JoJolion in a hot minute.
And man, is One Piece hot?
Yeah, let's go a little bit faster today, but let's touch on all the important stuff.
All right.
953 is the chapter where we really find out about the Bridge Bandit.
Yes.
So let's see what's popping here. This, I said we were gonna go fast, but man, this picture of Kawamatsu crying when he realizes Hiyori's gone
Yeah.
is very sad. Kawamatsu and Hiyori's backstory is very cute. Um, I forgot the whole thing, but he took care of her after Odin died and Toki sent half of the crew in the future. Kawamatsu had to take care of her, right? But then he went to prison.
Right. So like this flashback we're getting is like is interesting because it's like right after the battle and then right before he gets imprisoned, essentially.
Right, yeah, it is right before he gets in prison, I think.
Hmm.
So what did you think about this twist with the fox? It was introduced this chapter, but we have seen this bridge bandit before.
Right. I
In
to me.
general, I think the relationship between the fox and Kawamatsu is very cute,
Mhm.
but I was left with a very big question mark on what the fuck I just witnessed at the end of the chapter.
I think like this is just kind of like a mystical fox of Wano kind of deal. I don't think it's a devil fruit fox. I think it's something that's part of Wano that it's just hasn't been explored yet and probably will be talked about at a later date.
I hope so. It's definitely a kitsune, shape-shifting fox.
Yes.
Um, so I guess, but like, it can talk when it's a human. The
Well, they're
weird,
intelligent, like,
yeah.
but like I think the big thing about it was that he becomes this bridge bandit thing to scare people off more than like a fox could ever. Uh, because like
Yeah, that works more for me. For some reason in my mind, I was like, oh, and he really never showed his shape-shifting powers to Kawamatsu when they were together. But I guess, like you're saying, he took this form to become scarier, and I think that works a lot better for me when I think
and
about
I
that.
think like the other reason is that he there I think it's easier to say, oh, there's a bandit that lives on the bridge, don't go there, versus oh, there's a fox that lives there, he's annoying. Like because the fox realizes he can't stop Kawamatsu during this flashback, and
Yeah.
he learns to like go with him and he understands him. So he's just like, I have to be stronger, so I have to be something that could fight a person or scare people off. This isn't doing it, kind of deal. And he takes
No.
like the image of Kawamatsu, who disguises himself as a bridge bandit, like with the exception of its.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's really an homage to him before he gets captured.
You fixed all my issues with this chapter
I did it.
in three
I am now
minutes.
Oda.
And there weren't even serious issues. I actually really like this now. Now this is a really nice story. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Also, Zoro gets a strong sword.
Well, he's told he's going to get a strong sword, but yes.
The only sword that has ever uh,
Cut Kaido.
cut Kaido.
Yeah.
Um. Uh. Yeah, and over here we have like Zoro remembering that Moria is the one who stole this sword when he stole Ryuma.
Mm-hmm.
This is the chapter also where we find out that so now we're switching on to 954.
Yes.
Um, so law broke out in this chapter, right?
Like, that was the craziest thing to me because Hawkins, we have been talking about the whole time, is unkillable.
Yeah,
Like,
or he's unkillable as long as he has fodder around.
right.
But he imprisoned Law in sea stone cuffs and then let his prisoners go. So he was a man of his word there, even though his fighting style is kind of cowardly.
Yeah.
Where the whole deal is like, you can't kill me because you're just gonna kill up to 20 puppets before you get to me. You know.
Yeah.
Um, so it was nice of him to let him go. So the way this works is someone let Law go. Someone released him, and that's how he was able to get the hit on Hawkins
Hawkins.
here.
Right.
It all happens off screen, but it also brings in a good mystery.
Yeah. So here's another thing. No, they're not. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I thought for a second, like, there's this panel right above where we see Hawkins, like, cut in half. of the prisoners, but then I realized that's outside in the public prisons that everyone can see in.
Yeah,
Well,
this seems to be inside the like more tortury chamber areas
yeah,
of the prison. So
yeah.
what's our guess here, right? I feel like it could be two people.
I think it might be X Drake.
So yeah, my strongest guess is X Drake. Um, One guess is Kyoshiro because he's clearly so sketchy this arc. You know, like there's
Yeah.
so much going on with him. Let's read what he says here. If letting me walk part is part of your plot, then consider me a willing participant.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason in my mind, I was like, he's showing a lot of familiarity to this person. But he's really not, I guess. He's just like, clearly this is part of your plot, and
I
I'm
think
gonna
it
take
has
this
to be
opportunity.
X Drake because to me, that's the only person that's thinking like, okay, I have to like, I have to stop Big Mom and Kaido or whatever from doing whatever's gonna happen, and I have to like basically be the Marine inside man.
Yeah.
I have to work with Law in order to get better because he knows Luffy and Law are like the only other two people that probably have a chance to help take down these, at least Kaido. Like
Yeah.
at this point, we don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm hedging it on X Drake, but I'm not cutting out Kyoshiro from
Yeah,
the.
but that's another one that like I can really see happening. But the thing is like we haven't seen enough of him for me to
Yeah,
like.
that's why I feel like it's him. So they've changed the port that they're leaving on,
Mm-hmm.
and everything's kind of going well here. They're
Yeah,
getting all their ducks in the ponds. Luffy's doing his training.
this is essentially the last chapter of everyone like getting together and like project managing about what's happening.
Yeah,
And like this chapter felt like it happened like so long after 93 because there was a break between like those two.
93. You mean 43?
Oh, was it 40? Yeah, no,
940.
53. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, 53.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a break between these,
so it was
but
just like
this was a really good chapter to come back to because it was really moving the plot along.
mhm.
Um, with the biggest review at the end. First of all, Apu shows up. I don't think he was in this arc up until this point, was he?
Where is he?
He's on for me. It's page 13 and 12.
Okay. Oh, is he the musician guy?
Yeah, Apu the
Yeah.
musician. He wasn't here before he gets here. We find out of an alternate way into Wano.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we get this review of the numbers.
Right. Which so back in Thriller Bark, at the very end of that segment, we see these like mysterious looking tall things in the cloud with glowing eyes. And I think that was the numbers keeping an eye on Moria and by some distance to like keep track of like where he was for some reason or another.
This is a big dick prediction right here, and
Yeah.
I
But
hope
like
it would be cool because one thing that's always ate away at me is what the fuck were those things in the shadows?
mhm,
And my friend Gus, you know him, he's like, "Oh, it's part of Japanese mythology. You're not supposed to know. It's like a thing." So it doesn't translate well, but it's like this is One Piece. He would not put that there if we're not supposed to know, and I gotta know. It's so mysterious.
mhm,
If it is these things, that's really cool. That's
yeah.
really interesting. The question is, does Kaido care enough about Moria to have spies on him?
Well, maybe.
Moria is building an army to take out Kaido, but would Kaido care?
I think
It feels like he killed all of Moria's crew. That's their backstory together, and that's why
yeah.
Moria resents him. But it really feels like maybe they were kind of rivalistic at some point. But it's
Mhm.
clear that Kaido has far surpassed Moria in strength.
It could be that he's afraid of Moria because he has like maybe the one ability that could stop Kaido, which is severing his like soul essentially.
He would like that.
But yeah, it's true.
He
Moria,
wants to die.
yeah, Kaido does want.
I believe he wants he wants to either. It's hard to tell because we've only seen this aspect of him once. He wants to either die in battle or commit suicide.
Yeah,
Um, and maybe like Moria's too much of a punk bitch for him to let him do it. Hard to say.
but like the other reason, do we have a reason why Kaido killed his entire crew?
Kaido just kind of does that. He destroys crews, right?
Mm.
He will bully you into submission. He will kill your whole crew if he must.
Mm-hmm.
Um, That just seems kind of like his character. He will poison children with smile. He will torture Killer and make him into a shattered version of himself. He sends Luffy to the prison by saying, "Man, this kid has a lot of kingly deposition, but let's iron him out. Let's crush his soul so that he
Yeah.
can work for us." He's just kind of that kind of character. He's very much a bully.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I'm
but
assuming
like
it's
it also
that.
can be like he just wants to make sure Moria never gets back up, kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of like crushing your soul kind of thing.
And it just yeah, and I think to me like that this is the best shot we have to those being these things
Hmm.
because I don't know because I want it to be.
Well, we
Uh,
were wrong about Big Mom helping Luffy, so we'll,
yeah, but
we'll
that's
see
where
if this one works.
yeah.
By the way, Big Mom and Kaido team up. That is the biggest fucking what the fuck.
Yeah, it's also the worst thing that could possibly happen in the
Th-
history of One Piece.
yeah, I was. It's not just for this arc. This is like historically the worst thing that could happen.
Hmm.
It's the return of the Rocks in a way. Like
Yeah.
this many dangerous people teaming up together.
And that gets like well, we have the next one, which is Inma, which is the final
955.
chapter of Act Two.
Yes, this was
My
a
God.
really good one. It's a lot of Zoro hype as he gets his new sword.
Hmm.
Um, he's able to tame it, casually slicing mountains. He's training with Momo. He's explaining Tsunachi. They're still talking about the number deficit. The number deficit is worse than they think here, because
Yeah.
they don't know the armies have teamed up. Here's a potential plot point that could ruin this arc. Luffy hasn't gotten back yet. He's about to at the end of this chapter, more or less. There's a time skip where they're together now.
Right.
If Luffy did not tell them that Big Mom is in the island and then they're surprised that she's there, I'm gonna be mad at Oda.
Or are you gonna be mad at Luffy? I would see as a thing that Luffy just forgets about it.
Nope, Chopper is there.
Oh,
Raizo was there. There is
Yeah.
zero excuse for them not knowing that Big Mom is in Wano. So I hope when she shows up, they're like, right. So we thought about this, and they flash back to what their strategy is. Because right now, it really seems like they were gonna sail into Onigashima and just hope Luffy got strong enough to kill Kaido. And now they're gonna do it again and hope he's strong enough to kill both of them. And it's
Yeah.
like I hope that you guys have had some real strong strategy sessions in the meantime. By the way, did you watch that Mr. Morge video I sent you? Because
Which one?
there's two really good ones.
Oh,
One
I
about
didn't watch the middle one. No, because like it was 40 minutes long and it was late when I finally saw it. I was like, I don't want
you
because
you have to do it. You really have to.
Last night I watched the movie 6 of One Piece, which is really good.
Watch that video. It'll make you appreciate Wano as a whole more.
Yeah.
Also, it's gonna make you appreciate shooting Maru more. There's also a really good Blackbeard one that he just
So
released.
here's like a big bold prediction that won't come true. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
That it's Orochi, right? That's the name of the
Yeah.
new slogan. Okay, just want to make sure our names are correct. Orochi is actually Dinjero. And they don't know it, but
How? How does this work, Joe?
I don't know. I'm
Joe,
just
listen to the words coming out of your mouth.
I'm
Denjiro is clearly Rockstar from Shank's crew.
yes.
um,
No, but like that's but like so. I feel like part of me thinks that there's not a trade out. It's just he knows how to read their symbols somehow. You know.
there has to be a traitor. We'll talk about it at the very end of this chapter. I just want to talk about these panels of not the 9 scabbards, because they're not all there, but they're mostly there. And then there's also Shinobu and Momosuke. The wording and the prose here as they're walking through the scorched land and they're ghosts without a master. This is going to look fucking epic in the anime. Even the anime can't fuck this scene up. It's gonna have the Walk to Arlong Park music or something like that. It's gonna look great because like this just gives me badass vibes. Like this would be in a Toonami promo. 9 swordsmen walk through the desert.
Yeah.
It just gives me good vibes all around. Near the end of this chapter, Luffy's definitely mastered his advanced hockey or whatever, or he's getting there. Orochi found out about the port switch.
Right.
Let's talk about this traitor. He has to exist because he's been talked about since Zal. How were they able to track Raizo? How did they know he was in Zal but they didn't know exactly where he was?
Right.
Um how did they know about Komurasaki? All we know is that Kyoshiro found the paper, but we never saw a scene of them decoding it. It's supposed to be undecodable. And that's when Shinobu and Law are talking about traitors, and Shinobu's like, maybe they're in your crew, and your crew squealed, and that's how they got into their fight.
Right.
Um, this traitor exists. I think we need to throw out some predictions right now.
We talked about this like earlier, like just kind
Yes.
of like while we were just playing Monster Hunter, but like I think it's either Shinobu, which is the ninja,
Yeah.
or it's Iori. Like I
Um,
think,
I could
but
see
the
Hiyori. I am laying down. I'm drawing a line in the sand on podcast, so it'll be fermented in the world, so people can call me out on it. It
yeah.
is 100% not Shinobu. She's a red herring.
Yeah.
Uh, she got mad at Law, and that's the main reason why people think it's her. It's also her affiliation with the ninjas, but we'll
Hmm.
see. That
The
that
thing about
is
ninjas,
that is
though,
one good point for her. But
in history standards, ninjas are actually incredibly loyal. Like
I mean, she
they,
left the ninjas to stay with Odin. She was part
yeah,
of the ninja squad.
that's true.
Um, and it's like she's a character who's arguing with Law. I think she has valid reasons because she's had to wait 20 years, so she's on edge. But everyone's like, "Oh, she's such a bitch because she's arguing with the character we like," and everyone loves Law.
Yeah.
It feels so obvious that she's a red herring to me. There's two more characters you can't be. There's actually a couple. It cannot be Raizo because
No.
Jack was looking for Raizo. It cannot be Kinemon. He is the main person of this whole operation. Um, it just cannot be him. Just on a storytelling perspective, he's the protagonist of the like Wano side of the arc. He's like the
He's our
main
VP
character.
essentially.
Um, it cannot be cat or dog because they both got tortured horrendously. Um, but it can still be a mink because not every mink knew that they were in the giant tree.
Hmm.
That's where Raizo was. So they might have known that being a mink makes sense because that's how they would have been able to find Zhao. Zhao's not supposed to be able to found unless you have a Viver card. Not even a log pose would work. It has to be a Viver card.
Hmm.
Um, so it could be one of the minks. So right now for me it's between Sicilian, who we see in this chapter for the first time in a long time, uh,
Dog.
with Wanda's crying. Karish is kind of standing there awkwardly, and Sicilian just looks angry, which is weird.
Yeah.
Maybe like he regrets his choices that got Pedro killed. I don't know. I don't
Hmm.
know. Or it could be Kanjiro, who's been with Kinemon since the start. We will see. I am planning on one day going through a deep dive, starting from Zao, with a spreadsheet of every criteria that the trader needs to have to make sense, and then we're gonna see if it is possible that someone fits all the criteria, or if it's Oda fucking up for once. But I doubt it's that.
Hmm.
All right, 9:56.
Big news.
Big news. Um. Back to the reverie, man. We haven't got to talk about the reverie.
Yeah.
Is the reverie like top 5 arcs in One Piece?
Pretty good in terms of
It's.
like its storytelling.
I mean, what more do you need, right? It's world building. Um, a lot of Garp interacting with Shirahoshi and the King. Garp is just a great guy. I've grown to like him more and more as
Hmm.
time goes on.
Especially after these two chapters.
Yeah, these are big Garp chapters. You get some stuff about. You get a really good Morgan segment,
Hmm.
where he shows his news integrity, where all he cares about is the sensationalist news, but he will not bend to your will. He cares about putting the news he wants to put out, but he will not put out the news you want to put out. He's not going to take a paycheck.
He doesn't want, yeah, basically, like I can definitely tell from this interaction that he's more than happy to take a bribe and like put his story up, but he's not okay with taking a story out that wants to put in. Like that's my takeaway from this is that yeah, he's a very morally gray character, but like, oh man, this is my front page story. Nope, you're not touching it. Like that
He's
he's
got a
very,
moral code of his own.
Yes, he's very like lawful neutral, if anything.
A very talking about Oda being a god and just dense information in one panel.
Hmm.
Um, this one panel of how Morgan's ship works is just such a good world building segment because it completely explains how he gets the news out and how he moves from island to island and scoops up news reports.
Yeah.
He also has a bunch of birds on his ship that flies, so that's how he's able to send the seagulls out to find pirate ships and stuff to drop the news in.
Hmm.
And you can just tell all that from one panel.
Also, Wapol.
Wapo has a secret.
Yes.
I talked to you
I
about
mean,
the
a secret
secret.
we already know.
Yeah, I saw this on Reddit and it makes complete sense. The secret is even something simple. It is simply that Queen Vivi or Princess Vivi was on the Straw Hat pirate ship as a pirate. It's
Yeah.
that simple secret that totally lines up because she was totally there. He totally recognized her. And we know this with certainty because Bradley went through this arc very recently, so it's fresh in our minds because we talked
Hmm.
about it. That is enough to sink her completely. Um,
Yes. It basically makes Alabasta like an enemy of the state against the world government, and puts like and basically puts her like in the crosshairs like O'Hara was in terms of like, oh, we have to get rid of these people because now they are associated with these criminals,
yeah,
and it gives them an excuse for invading Alabasta again, which may or may not have Pluton.
yeah. Um, we still don't know the full story about Pluton and Alabasta,
Mhm.
right? And
We,
we
we,
it's got to be there because you remember when Im-sama, when she was like stabbing at the picture, she was stabbing at Shirahoshi and Luffy and Vivi.
all right.
Luffy because he's a dangerous will of D. Shirahoshi because she's a weapon. Why Vivi though? It's she has to be a threat of this level, so we can assume that Alabasta truly does have the Pluton.
Hmm.
Um,
Or they have the poneglyph that at least tells you where Pluton is,
yeah.
and like
Um,
enough for
I
them to
cannot wait for Frankie to build the Pluton for the Straw Hat Army
and
in the
then go to
future.
the
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that one day.
moon.
Jesus Christ. Fucking space rabbits, man.
Yeah.
Um, the Revolutionary Army is freaking out.
Yes.
Now, why are they freaking out? Right? They're trying to verify something. We find out some other things. Um, Dofi's cracking up. Dan is also crying. Why would she be crying? So, like, she could be crying if Sabo was dead.
Right.
Same with Makino is also crying. Um, what I think happened is there's some news here that like there was an assassination attempt and there was a murder. Right, both happened.
Yeah.
Um, the murder, Sabo must have been blamed for the murder, or he committed the murder.
Right.
And the assassination attempt will happen but didn't go through. I don't think they're linked. They would have just said it was an assassination, not an assassination attempt.
Right.
Um, so what I'm thinking, and it's a pretty common theory, someone killed Cobra,
Mm-hmm.
and Vivi was the assassination attempt. He got killed in the crossfire.
Yes.
It got blamed on Sabo. Everyone's crying because it's like, for the revolutionaries, like Sabo would never do this. For the people of Goa Kingdom, it's like, man, Sabo is not. It hurts us to see that Sabo would kill someone like this. Like, where has his life taken him? Kind of thing. So I feel like their reactions make sense.
Right. So there's an interesting thing that we didn't talk about in person, and that's what Blackbeard is saying.
Yeah.
If Navy's only going to take it, I might as well claim the prize, which, is
If the
interesting.
Navy's only going to take it, this feels like a weird translation, but like, if the Navy's only going to take it, I might as well claim the prize. If the
Right.
Navy's only going to take the prize, I might as well claim the prize. I don't know. I don't know what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
He could be talking about scooping up the warlords, which we can talk about now. The
That
warlord
could
system
that might be it. Actually, that makes a lot more sense. But it's weird in context of seeing everything else unfold.
but it doesn't make sense if the Navy's only going to take what, the warlords. It doesn't make sense in
Well, because if you
context.
think about it, the warlords will only like take the like they'll only bring in the warlords, but they can't claim the prize on the warlords. Does that make sense? But he's also a pirate, so that kind of absolves him from getting that prize.
Oh, maybe it's like if they're gonna arrest the warlords, I might as well claim the prize, which is their devil fruits.
Right.
That could be it. He's super into that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, warlord system is revoked. We find out that X Drake is a fucking navy, dude. That is big news.
Big news.
He is a navy who became a pirate to infiltrate the Kaido pirates to double cross them as a navy man still.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the Marines get into Wano. That is such a well built scenario. He and Kobe are both members of Sword, which is, I guess, the Navy's shield. Um,
Maybe, yeah. This might be like some. So here's big twist of what Sword is that that's Garp's personal secret Navy force that he hasn't told anyone about.
nah, it's not Garp's. No way.
You don't think so?
Garp is not secretive enough. He's not like a big thinker like that. I like the theory more that it's Aokiji's.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Aokiji's currently also undergoing undercover.
Yes, that makes a lot more sense.
And I mean, and Sword could be an infiltration of some Marines are on the inside, and like Kobe is like X Drake's handler.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting into Yonko crews.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, so maybe someone like Aokiji is getting into Blackbeard's crew, and like maybe someone in Big Mom's crew is also a Sword member.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only people that we know from the worst generation that was in Big Mom's crew was Beige, right? That's his name.
Yeah, Capone.
Like, and he already attempted assassination attempt. It was like, I'm done, and left.
It could be one of her children, though. Is there like a child that left home and then came back?
I don't remember.
I think they've always stayed there, so I don't think this theory
It's
holds
either
up.
you stay there forever or you leave forever, from what I've seen.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
Once you cut ties, they're cut free.
no, they're still gone. There's a Fishman Island. There's like a mermaid, but like they're gone too.
Yeah, it's in Jinbei's crew, Praline.
Yeah, but she's gone. Like
Yeah.
she's not part of the crew.
Yeah. Man, I hope Jinbei's alive. So yeah, Boa and Mihawk are about to go on a feast. So is Weevil.
Mm-hmm. Or are they?
If they did not pack warlords into the ship, these people are going to get killed.
I think Weevil's fine.
Weevil's fine. Mihawk's fine. Boa's fine. They're all fine.
I don't think Boa's fine.
Dude, Boa, you said Boa would die. You're fucking nuts. You're actually high.
I'm high all the time. I don't know. Boa of all of these is the ones that seem like the one to get captured and punished of all the ones that we've seen.
No
like,
fucking way.
Mihawk is small enough. Mihawk is one person. He has no one to care for. He just needs to get on his boat and leave, basically, if things get rough. Weevil hasn't done anything the entire story for something to happen to him. Boa has her entire island. She literally can't leave the island and escape. She has her crew members. She has a lot to lose.
The crew can abandon the island.
But she also has all the other Amazons on the island, too.
Yeah, they're part of her crew. They'll leave with her.
I don't think so. They're not. She takes over the island. Like, there's an inheritance they have to go through. Because remember, she disguises the back of her with the sons and everything. There are people that just live on the island.
They're strong enough to fend for themselves, though. They have really strong hockey. She's fine, dude. She's expect to see her in the Straw Hat Fleet in T-minus 150 chapters.
4 years from now.
All right, 957.
Oh boy,
big dick time. I love Akainu. I think he's a really cool villain.
I love this color page.
This is a very good color page. I saw a thing of Oda drawing this color page. He did it digitally.
Yeah.
He's very good at. Wow, this is such a good color page.
Mm-hmm.
The big things with this is, so we've known about the Rocks Pirates for a little bit, but I don't remember. I think they have been mentioned in the manga. But they might have also been V-Ray card stuff, so that's why I might know them more than you did. Anyways, I knew that all these pirates were in the Rocks together.
See, I didn't. I know in 907 they mentioned the Rocks Pirates, but I don't remember them saying anything about it.
I know at least for a fact that like Big Mom and Kaido were in the crew together, and I don't remember if I knew that Whitebeard was there. That might be a surprise. The Rocks Pirates are led by Rox, or what's his name? Zaber D. Rox?
Roxy Zabek.
Zebek. Um, whose goal, his full name, one of the rare, so he's a D.
Right.
They talk about his ideals at one point, and like his ambition is to be king of the world. He was
Right.
so ambitious,
Which is different from King of
and
the
he
Pirate.
broke too many of the world's taboos.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so messed up that like the pirates themselves don't talk about it. Um, so like even like the Yonko that were in it, they don't talk about. The Marines of the time don't really talk about it
Mm-hmm.
until it's really needed to know. Um, so this was clearly a very strong crew. It
Right.
had Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido. Why was Whitebeard
Even like
there? Was such an ambitious man. It's
yeah.
weird, right?
Especially because like they talked. One of the things they talked about this crew is that the crew would literally kill each other. Like they would climb over each other like in Baroque works and like kill each other and
Yeah.
trying to get ahead. Which is not what Whitebeard is about at all. He is very much like you are all a special person in my crew. You're my family. I'm your father. I am going to care for you.
I can only imagine like Whitebeard started off by wanting to get money for his village.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have done this, but eventually maybe like this could have been the scenario where he saw like real grit with Garp and Roger, which fought together. You have to assume it wasn't just Garp and Roger. Like Roger's crew was also helping out.
Right.
Um,
But they were definitely like the two key players in that
yeah,
whole.
for sure. And then he saw some real grit in them, and then maybe that's when he started reevaluating his life. I think that would make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't make sense to me is why Roger and Garp would fight to protect Celestial Dragons when this chapter even goes as far to say that Garp was never an admiral because he hates the idea of working under the Celestial Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
So what the hell is that all about?
Right. Which, and also this does a really good job of like building up Garp more to being that like kind of legend, like great person that we know, and like that one line itself makes you realize that Garp is not like hype, like does not see as the Marines and world government as the end all be all like good thing. Like he thinks that this is the way it should be done, but he knows there's problems with it.
Yeah.
Like he's
So
very
he could be the leader of Sword, I guess, but I still don't think he's the secret type.
yeah.
I feel like the Sword is something where like Akainu and Aokiji are both in on it, and like they didn't leave on bad terms like we might have thought they would have, you know.
Nah, I think they did. Like I think to me like that's a they have really two big different like viewpoints.
Ideals.
Yes, Akiono really is just like you gotta straight up destroy them. And how do you say Kozen's
Aokiji and
Aoki
Akainu. Oh, you're
Akiano?
making me say things wrong.
Yeah, but like
Suguri.
yeah, but Kozen is very much just like he has his own moral code, and he's just like I know when something is crossing the line,
Yeah.
and like
Lazy justice.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, big bounty drops.
Oh man, great bounty drops.
I'm very excited to see more about the God Valley because like there has to be the God Valley disappeared. A lot of people are meeting at Wano. Why were they defending the dragons? Like they had to be defending them because if they didn't, Rox was going to get his hands on something that was world breaking or like some information that was world breaking. So we'll find out, right? I don't have much to speculate on now, but like the bounty drops were fucking hype as shit.
Yeah. The bounty drops are definitely like the more fan servicey part of this chapter.
Oh, I love bounty
like,
drops.
Yeah, but like we know that Luffy now has like a ladder to climb. There is still like a little bit more he has to go above and beyond.
If you ever needed a sign that we are in the end game of One Piece, even if it's an extremely long end game, this is it. Yeah, this is like, something Oda has held to his chest since chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 1, dude.
Also, another big thing that we figure out here is that Shanks has only been a emperor for 6 years.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the Vivre card said otherwise, but I'm glad that they're wrong because that would make no fucking sense.
Yes, because Shanks that makes a lot more sense in terms of the whole storytelling and him losing his arm.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
I do like how Shanks is also the lowest of the original 4.
Mm-hmm.
And that Big Mom and Kaido are close to each other. That Kaido's currently the most dangerous man alive, aside from maybe Dragon. Now, I think Dragon's going to have a bounty of like 5.4.
Yeah.
I don't think his should be higher than Rogers, but he should be the highest alive. That's my stance on it.
I do like so yeah. So the big thing is like Roger is definitely like our kind of all might in game like power ceiling kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Power. I say power ceiling with quotation marks. It's
Yeah.
our
Threat ceiling.
yes, because that's the highest any pirate's ever gone. So Luffy has to go beyond, and people have pointed out before that 556 or 5.6 is Gomu
Yeah.
in Japanese, like gum gum. So it's like oh, very obvious where we're going here.
So that's the only reason why like Dragon cannot be above Roger, because then Luffy can't end on 56. So there you go.
Yeah.
If you needed more evidence. That's a lot of One Piece, but that's some good fucking One Piece we had. That's also more chapters than usual.
Yeah. Well, we took a week off, and then One Piece decided to not take a break.
And it's also not on a break now, so I am
Yeah. Thank God.
excited. I'm excited to start Act 3, which is
I'm
probably...
hoping that one more Reveri chapter takes a break, and after the break, start Act 3.
Nah, homie, we're starting Act 3 next week. Believe it.
Oh.
There can't be more, Joe. Joe, I've come too much. Like there can't be more. We need to get back to the normal.
I'm running
story.
dry.
I'm running dry here, Oda.